then we've got, so those are outputs, okay, like I said. Outputs here, these are also outputs. These are also outputs. Now these are, it gets a little bit hairy because it's yet another stage of mixing. They're called matrices. So what those do is those let you combine other individual elements that are available on the console into another mix that could be sent out of the console, say into a camera for an audio feed into a video camera, or into a recording system, of some kind, even to a cassette player or some format of recording. And this again brings us back into probably getting more complicated than we need to, but suffice it to say that all of these 6 guys here are become their own elements that get mixed into this red knob.
So if I were to
groups 1, 2, 3, 4, mix left and mix right. So anything that's coming out of, say, the mix left and so this mix fader controls 2 outputs, left and right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that mix left and right, that signal also is duplicated here at the mix left and right. And if I was to turn these knobs up, it would send the sound that's coming out of mix left and right. It would send that, depending on how much I turn it up, it would send some level of that mix into that output that could then be sent to a camera, could be sent to, like I said, a recording device. And the reason you have multiples here, the reason they call it a matrix, is a matrix is another stage of combining other outputs. So you've got group output 1, for example, group output 2. These are all outputs. They could all, given a certain configuration, they could all produce a different thing. For example, we won't go into how to achieve this, but we could set the console up so that all of your band elements, kick, snare, bass, keys, guitars, get routed through this red fader before they hit the mix, which gives you direct control over the blending of those band elements. Then mix 2 could be assigned such that group 2 controls any vocals that are coming through the room. Okay, so then you'd have a separately controllable pre-mixed blend of, this is band, this is an amount of band that I'm sending to the mix, this is an amount of vocal that I'm sending to the mix. This could be this could be a collection of the 4 wireless mics could be assigned to this guy. So now you have 3 separate stages of control. There's your band volume, there's your vocal volume, and there's your wireless stuff. And you could be in the middle of a mix and without having to do a bunch of simultaneous, okay, I'm going to pull that down by the same amount, because you had routed these channels, these input channels, into a group first. Then this, by turning this down, it effectively would kind of do that with all the individual elements staying in balance. So that's what those are doing. So now that they've gotten to the output, what you're saying is, I'm taking these 3 elements, I'm taking band, vocals, and wireless, for example, groups 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to send some band in that amount, I'm going to send some vocals in that amount, and I'm going to send some wireless in that amount into yet another output matrix, which could be sent to the camera. So say you, in the house, your house mix sounds good, but what you want for your video mix is you want to hear more vocals than you want band, or vice versa. You could make that change here without impacting what people hear in the room, without impacting what people hear on the stage. It's just another set of outputs, and it gets you to where you want to go. A little more complicated, and we can go further in depth in that. Best way to show that is to do it in a real world experience, with a band on the stage, and actually talking through it and working through that piece. But I think that's pretty much, that's in essence the console.